Welcome to the 2021 Heart of America Athletic Conference Women's Volleyball Media Day. I'm your host, Stephen Davis. We are joined right now by Culver-Stockton College head women's volleyball coach, Lauren Eldridge. Coach, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Excited for our home opener tonight. So thanks for having me.
Good. It's an exciting time of year. You're set to begin your second season now as the head coach of the Wildcats. Obviously, though, it was not a normal year one with the COVID and everything that went with it, protocols, postponements. How much are you and your staff and your players looking forward to hopefully a much more normal season here in fall 2021?
Honestly, probably been looking forward to it since the end of last season. Just something more consistent and normal, and having a full season with a full squad every day instead of half of a squad almost every day. But looking forward to the season. Got a lot of new faces on the team and on the staff, so excited to get started.
Before we dig into your team and find out who some of those new faces are, you're very familiar with this conference, having been in the Heart as a coach and a player at Missouri Valley. For the folks who are unfamiliar, how competitive is this league in volleyball in terms of both on a day-to-day basis and on the national level?
Oh, it's probably one of the toughest conferences in NAI volleyball. I mean, since I've been in the conference since 2013 as a player, it's been at least 5 of the teams in rankings, and it's a different team every year. So, I mean, it just depends on recruiting and all that, but it's always a tough game no matter who you're playing.
All right, let's preview your team a little bit here for fall 2021. Who are some key players that you're hoping will be leaders for you this season?
We have our outside coming back, Madison McLean. She was an all-conference player for us the last 2 years. We have a lot of freshmen coming in. We have a outside freshman from Texas. We have another one from Indiana. We have a transfer from New Mexico military on the right side pin for us. And we have a lefty setter coming in, as well as another returner setter that's going to start for us. And our libero is returning as well.
How do you sort through the newcomers and figure out who fits where here early in the season? Is it a lot of extra practice time, or do you put a lot of emphasis on what happens in matches where you're going against somebody new?
A lot in practice time. We did have a couple scrimmages about a week ago to kind of try different lineups, see what fits well, what doesn't, and kind of been going off of that. Don't have a full starting 6-8 yet. So tonight with our home opener, kind of going to try a couple lineups, see what fits and what doesn't, and then hopefully go from there, but have a good starting 8 or 10 this coming weekend.
You mentioned earlier it's your second year in the program, taking things over. Are you feel like you're starting to get your stamp on the program now, get the kind of players you want in and start to kind of have the volleyball team you imagined when you took over?
Yeah, I think we're getting closer to that. I mean, this is my first full recruiting class. Last year I had half a year, but the girls we brought in a lot that are really wanting to compete, and not just athletically, but they have good character, good personality. That's one of the big things I focused on this year, is bringing in girls that can match what we already have. Just having that team chemistry kind of relates a lot into the court, and it helps us change that culture from not always winning and actually having that winning expectation to move forward. And we have a lot of competitiveness on the practice court.
How do you transition that from competitiveness on the practice court, where you can have 12 players out there at a time, to when you get in matches and it's only 6 out there and everybody else has to be on the sideline rooting them on?
Well, we talk about role play. We know that you have to have role clarity, and they know that maybe one game you're going to be starting, the next game your teammate's going to be starting over you. But if we're not competitive on the practice court, then we can't be competitive in a game, because we're going to be playing people that are better than our second or third string. And we have to make sure we excel that high level of competition during practice so we can excel in a game.
You mentioned the start of the season and getting the schedule underway. What are some things you hope to see from your team in the first few matches of the season?
I'm looking for team chemistry and just making sure that we can play as a whole unit. The last couple of practices, we've been doing a lot of individual stuff and hoping we can come together as 6 people on a court, not just individually. So coming as a team, playing together, playing in unison, and having some of those light bulb moments that were like, oh, wow, we really can do this. We've been practicing, and then translate into the court.
You mentioned that you haven't been on the job that long, but you've kind of settled in there now at Culver-Stockton. For folks who aren't familiar, tell us a little bit about the school and the area, and what about that school attracted you to that job and why you like it so much there.
Yeah, so we're in Canton, Missouri, small town, but we have an awesome academic programs here. We have a little bit of a different semester. We do a 12-3 experiential learning. So we break it up into 2 semesters in both the fall and the spring. 12 weeks, you get final grades, and then another 3-week semester that focus on 1 or 2 classes and an internship or studying abroad. So a lot of learning by experience, connecting, networking with that. And then our professors are awesome, very small class sizes. So you have a lot of one-on-one attention that you might not get in a bigger school. And then we're also, always like to brag about it, 3 years in a row, #1 school in Missouri for job placement. I mean, 98% of our kids find a job or continue education after Culver. And it's pretty awesome to say, especially you come to school, come to college to get that degree to get a job. So the fact that we can do that for 98% of our kids is pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Pretty good recruiting pitch there on the academic side. How about on the volleyball side? What are you selling recruits on in terms of new coach, second year, trying to build the program? What do you pitch to them there?
I pitched that you want to be part of something new, something rebuilding. When I played back in my Missouri Valley days, that's something that I was brought in to do, kind of buy into the new coach, the new culture, the new winning expectations. And if you want to be involved in something that's going to be changing and growing, then this is the place to go. And that us as coaches, we care about you as an athlete, but also as a person offside the court.
Coach, good stuff. We appreciate it. Sounds like a great recruiting pitch. I'm in if you need me, but I think I'm out of eligibility. So, Culver-Stockton head coach Lauren Eldridge, thanks for the time. Good luck this season.
Thank you for having me.